Okay, so I'm going to see if this works in any way, shape, or form. So I've been thinking about trying to find some way to communicate online better than I have been, having not really responded to messages for about 15 years. So the other day, I actually replied to a question that I got on one of my old YouTube videos that was 16 years old, and the person then emailed me, thanked me for answering the question, and also pointed out how on brand it was for me. So we're going to be talking a lot of Will Heffernan on brand stuff today. So one of the things I want to do this year is learn how to edit video. So this will be the start of that, which will probably involve me just sort of clipping the start and clipping the end. I'm going to try and make it not too long. I need to find some way to time it. Sort of want to keep the videos to sort of 10 minutes a video. What am I trying to do? So one, I want to talk about what I've done myself, my own training, what I'm doing currently, what I've done in the last few months, and where it's going in the future. Two, I'd like to be able to answer people's questions in an interactive format. Not that we can go backwards and forwards, but when people ask me questions, I can store them up and answer those questions online, because there's obviously the impediment to me is the time it takes to sort of sit down and start typing, and nobody consumes content like that anymore. I know I don't read anymore, don't read blogs anymore, so predominantly all the research and all the investigation I do into subjects is online. I very rarely use Facebook, I don't use Instagram. I'd like to learn how to use those better as well, so I'll be looking into that. But yeah, that's how you've got to watching this, all four of you. So I think I'll put this on YouTube. I think I still have 300 subscribers there, so probably a lot of them will unsubscribe once they see this, having not really produced videos for a long time. But we'll see how this goes. So this is Strava. So the way, obviously you'll know it, if you know, you know, as they say. I got to the stage July last year where I went to the doctors for a checkup, and I think I was 129.6 kilos. Basically the 6-pack of beer and bag of chips that I was planning to eat that day away from 130 kilos, and thought I have to do something. So obviously, having retired from competition 10 years ago, I've done pretty much bugger all. I haven't really done any structured training for the last decade, so a decade-long deload. So what I decided to do was in August, I started to use have an Echo bike, leg bike, Rogue Echo bike, and I was doing sort of 10k on that when I got around to it. And then in September, I decided what I was going to do is do 10k every day, no matter what. So one of the things I used to always say as a coach was discipline is far more important than motivation, and I still believe that now. Motivation comes and goes, but discipline is something you either apply or you don't. So I decided to just do 10k every day, which sort of took 18 to 22 minutes, and I failed miserably. And then I let things get in the way. So October, I tried it again after beating myself up mentally and emotionally, and I did it in October. So I trained every day. So in the days that I didn't do the arm leg bike, you can see in October, those few sessions in October were on the mountain bike and on the watt bike. So I've got a watt bike Atom X, and that was the end of October. So I got that done. So we rolled over into November, and I sort of transitioned to the watt bike, obviously, and Zwift, because the Echo bike, for anybody who's started, is boring as hell. So I just ground out my 10K every day, but very little stimulation, sort of, listen to some tunes or whatever else, but I wasn't getting much out of it. So I I committed to using the watt bike, and the sessions were relatively difficult. I did a test. I'll see if I can find it here. I haven't really prepared for this as well as I should. So this would have been a test, an FTP test, or maybe it wasn't. Maybe I'm telling lies. Probably telling lies, but that's also completely on brand. For me, I find it, if people are interested, I'm sort of going to go back. I'll be interested to see what people are interested in. Even if it's one of you, I don't really care. I'll talk to myself, or I'll talk to one of you. But yeah, I did some testing somewhere here in November, which I find my FTP was like 199, my peak power was sort of 800-ish watts. Happy to go into what that means and give some relevance to it. Again, depends what people are interested in. And maybe nobody's interested in it, in which case I'll just be talking to myself. But did some testing just to see where I was and sort of set the parameters for my training. So did one of the programs, ready-made programs on Zwift, which was a 3-month program. And what ended up happening is I was enjoying the cycling more and more through November, obviously. Had a couple of days off. 24th November was actually my last day off. So as we roll into December, you can see I trained every day. And what I was doing was that 3-month program. Instead of doing 3 or 4 days a week, I was just doing it every day and just sort of grinding it out, which I wouldn't recommend, but did it anyway. That rolled into December, from December into January, obviously. You can see at some stage here I started using Exert. Yes, so Exert around the 9th of January. So I've been following a number, obviously doing, spending a lot of time on YouTube, just sort of researching, started off with the watt bike and researching sort of how to get it set up, how to get the most out of it, and then was looking at Zwift and Training Peaks Virtual. I ended up getting all the apps, so Strava, Training Peaks, and Exert, just sort of subscribed to them all because I wanted to see what was good and what was not, decide for myself. So started pretty much riding on Zwift every day. I'll give a shout out to Adam at Road to A. So I learned a lot, so I'll put a link in the YouTube description, which I learned a lot from. So YouTuber overseas, doesn't have a huge number of followers, should have more, learned a ton. And one of the things that I got out of Road to A's channel was his use of Exert and description of how he used it, why he used it. So I've done the same thing. I went on board with Exert, which you can see here. So Exert's got my full history here. So one of the great things about Exert is, and I'm happy to go into this, give complete novices description of it, but essentially can go in and set my own parameters about what's important to me, what I'm looking to gain from training. So I'm trying to improve my 5-minute power, and while doing that, exerts, putting my sessions in. So the great thing about exert is I can go in, so tomorrow, working tomorrow, so I'll do a session in the evening. I'll give exert 1 hour, and exert will lay out a program for me based on its analysis of my ongoing training and performance. And then working Friday, the same. Saturday working, so another hour. Sunday working, another hour. You can see I've already sort of applied all this. And then on the 17th, back to days off. So I'll do a morning session, I'll give 2 hours. I'm actually thinking about switching to just using the use advisor and let just do whatever exert programs in there, which I might do right now. Just going to put that in for my days off. So you only have to schedule ahead of yourself, but things are progressing for me. Might as well go through exert here. So exert's got all my sessions. I'll just move this. I know it's annoying as hell, but I'll leave it here for a second. So you can see this is looking at the last, what's it looking at? The last 3 months? What was the technical? Yeah, last 3 months. So I actually started off with a threshold of around 180, so it's up 100. So, but obviously up 90 watts in the last 3 months. Yeah, my peak power has gone from 800 to 1429. My 5-minute power, so my first goal is to get this over 400 is what I want to do there. And get my lower threshold power up over 200. My sustained lower threshold. You can see here with exert, I'll move this out of the way. I know it's annoying as hell. I'll find a better way to do it. So this is the first dip. So this is looking at, you can see there's my last training session on the 24th. So these dots, gold and bronze dots along the way, empty dots, they're breakthroughs, they call them in exert. So you can see on this day, my 5-minute power increased up to 220 watts. So it's up, getting close to 400 now. You can see this threshold power from 190, 187, it's traveling along. So it's looking at my sessions. I've had breakthroughs along the way. As I said, discipline is more important than motivation. So have just been showing up and doing the training. 5-minute power moving up to 333, 5-minute power 364, 5-minute power 386. So most of my breakthroughs have been in improving that parameter that I was looking to improve, that being my 5-minute power. So that's exert. Happy to talk about this. This is really an intro video. I haven't been timing it, probably been talking for too long already. Also using Training Peaks, which a lot of people might be familiar with. I'll leave that there. So this is also looking at the last 90 days. So you can see off a pretty low base, progressing along. Happy to go through Training Peaks too. I get a lot out of going back and looking at the data, and I suppose it was my discipline that sort of got me started, and the data's providing me with motivation. So I'm trying to manage my fatigue, with the help of exert, to constantly be improving my fitness. So weight-wise, I started off at 129. I'm down to, you can see on Strava, I think, Strava syncs with my Fitbit. I'm down to 116, 117 kilos now. This week I've been around that mark. So I weigh every day because it's syncing with Zwift to keep me honest. Obviously, I could drop half my weight off Zwift and do 10 times better, but I'm interested in competing on my own terms. And what am I training for? So I've mentioned in the blog, I'm actually going to start racing. So I haven't had a competitive outlet for ages. So I'm going to find a way to transition into cycling. And it'll be predominantly gravel racing. Don't like riding on the road, which is one of the things that sort of has put me off. Doing that is just a safety aspect. I don't think it's a great risk return here in Melbourne. But gravel racing is something, and riding on gravel is something I really enjoy. So anytime I get up to the farm's the other side of a national park, so there's heaps of fire trails, dirt roads. I really enjoy that. Really enjoy pushing myself cardiovascularly more than I enjoy the technical aspects of mountain biking. So gravel cycling, gravel riding, gravel bikes have a huge appeal to me. So I am busy researching bikes like a madman now. Everything and anything to digest around that I'm sort of looking at. So part of these updates will be around that as well, what I'm doing as far as that's concerned. So I said to somebody the other day, they asked me what my goal was. My goal at the start is going to be completing, I like to say, with a view to then competing. So taking part initially with a view to sort of learning about myself and learning about the sport with a long-term view of actually being able to push myself to compete, because I'm somebody that needs a competitive outlet. So that's the plan. So if you have any questions about anything I've covered so far, happy to take advice. If people got better products for doing this, one of the things I want to do is people send me a lot of YouTube stuff, a lot of social media stuff to look at because they know it will annoy me, which I enjoy, that frustration and anger. Having been a professional coach for 20 years, I'm happy to go back and talk about that too, because I was discussing this with somebody the other day. So a lot of people know me now, know me by my current profession, which I've been in for 10 years, or they know me from my past profession, which I was in for 20 odd years. That being as a coach and a trainer, both here in Australia and overseas at a high level, so international, national, Olympic level. So happy to talk about that as well, and still, thankfully, get to talk to a lot of people about that now, because it's something that's always interested me, and I think I actually enjoy it more now than I did when I was working, because I don't have to rely on it to feed myself. So yeah, that's that. So I'm going to upload it. Be brutal. You know, my ego is so massive that there is nothing that you could possibly say or comment on that will have any negative impact on me whatsoever. But I want to find a way to do this on a consistent basis. I'll tighten it up. Obviously, I'm not going to edit this, but I want to learn to edit so I can make it more engaging and more interesting. But that's that for now. So tell me what you think. And we'll take it from there.